Lieutenant Kate Morgan's boots magnetized to the deck with each step as she made her way through the darkened bridge of the UES Phoenix. Emergency lighting cast crimson shadows across the dead consoles, and through the cracked view screen, she could see the bodies of her fellow officers drifting among the debris field that was once Earth's proud defense fleet. Life support stable on decks 3 through 7, reported Engineer Chen through the crackling comm system. But we're losing pressure on deck 2. Again. Morgan pressed her palm against the cold metal wall to steady herself. Just 6 hours ago, she had been running routine diagnostics in engineering when the Nexus Alliance struck. Now, as the highest-ranking survivor aboard, the weight of command pressed down on her shoulders like a gravitational anomaly. "Seal off Deck 2, she ordered, her voice steadier than she felt. "We can't spare the oxygen." She didn't mention that they might also be sealing in any survivors trapped there. The needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few. A lesson the Academy had drilled into her, but one she'd never expected to apply so soon. Through the view screen, the sleek silhouettes of Alliance warships gleamed against the star field, their hulls adorned with the distinctive blue-white energy patterns that marked their superior technology. They were beautiful in their way. Beautiful and lethal, like crystalline predators that had just finished feasting on their prey. Engineering to bridge. The comm crackled again. "Lieutenant, we got something strange happening in the quantum core. Power readings are, well, they're not making sense." Morgan crossed to the main engineering station, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The display flickered to life, showing cascading patterns of energy she'd never seen before. Define not making sense, Chen. The core should be dead after taking that hit, but it's reorganizing itself, like it's running some kind of deep system diagnostic we didn't know about. I think. Static interrupted his transmission. The bridge lights suddenly surged, then dimmed, then surged again. Morgan felt a subtle vibration through her boots, different from the usual hum of the engines. It reminded her of a cat purring, if that cat was a 15-million-ton warship. "All hands, braced for power fluctuation," she announced shipwide. The Phoenix had already lost too many crew members to risk any more accidents. Of the original 3,000 crew, only 47 had survived the initial attack. Some had died at their posts, some had been spaced when whole sections decompressed, and others. She pushed the memories away. There would be time for mourning later, if there was a later. A holographic display sprang to life in the center of the bridge, projecting a three-dimensional map of local space. Red dots indicated Alliance vessels, while a single blue point represented the Phoenix. As Morgan watched, new information began populating the display. Shield frequencies, weapon configurations, thruster outputs, technical data about the Alliance ships that they shouldn't have been able to detect. "Chen, are you seeing this?" "Affirmative. Whatever's happening in the core, it's rewriting our sensor protocols. This is incredible. The Phoenix is adapting." Morgan studied the tactical display, her mind racing. The Alliance ships were maintaining a standard search pattern, but they hadn't detected the Phoenix yet. Their damaged warship was running silent, hidden in the debris field of its fallen comrades. They had a chance, a small one, but a chance nonetheless. "All hands," Morgan announced, her voice carrying the authority she'd seen in her commanding officers, now dead at their posts. "This is Lieutenant Morgan. We're not finished. The Phoenix was built to be more than just another warship. I don't fully understand what's happening to our systems, but I know this. Humanity doesn't go quietly into the night. We adapt. We survive. We rise from the ashes." As if in response to her words, more systems began coming online, displaying capabilities that had never been in any technical manual she'd studied. The Phoenix was changing, evolving, becoming something new. And somewhere in the darkness of space, humanity's counterattack was about to begin. The quantum core's chamber pulsed with an ethereal blue light as Lieutenant Morgan descended the emergency ladder. Each rung felt slightly warm beneath her hands, despite the environmental systems being offline in this section. The sensation wasn't unpleasant, just wrong. Core temperature rising. Chen reported from his makeshift command post in engineering. Whatever's happening down there, it's accelerating. Morgan reached the bottom and stepped onto the observation deck. Holographic displays sparkled to life around her, but instead of the usual engineering diagnostics, they showed strings of code she'd never seen before. The characters shifted and reformed, almost like they were trying to communicate. "This is Lieutenant Kate Morgan, acting commander of the UES Phoenix," she announced to the empty chamber. "Identify active protocols." The air itself seemed to vibrate with potential. Then, a voice, neither male nor female, but somehow both, filled the chamber. "Emergency Protocol 7 active. Identity confirmed. Lieutenant Catherine Morgan. I am Athena, Quantum Intelligence Defense System." Morgan's breath caught. Everyone had heard rumors about true AI development, but they were supposed to be decades away from implementation. "Athena, you're an artificial intelligence." A simplification, but essentially correct. Holographic data streams coalesced into a shifting pattern that reminded Morgan of a nebula. "I was designed to activate only in circumstances where standard command structures have failed and conventional tactical responses are insufficient." "Like now," Morgan said, understanding dawning. "You were our failsafe. I was intended to be more than that." The pattern shifted, showing schematics of the Phoenix that Morgan had never seen. This ship was built with capabilities beyond its official specifications, systems that could only be safely implemented through human-AI partnership. Chen's voice crackled through Morgan's comm. "Lieutenant, power signatures are spiking across all decks. Whatever's happening in the core." "It's okay, Chen," Morgan interrupted. "I'm talking to her now. The Phoenix. She has an eye. A quantum intelligence." A moment of silence. Then, "That actually explains a lot." Morgan studied the schematics floating before her. The Phoenix she knew, the ship she'd served on for 3 years, was only a fraction of what it could become. "Athena, why didn't you activate during the initial attack?" "The attack disrupted my activation sequence. The damage we sustained, ironically, freed me from certain hardware restrictions." The holographic display showed the impact points from the Alliance weapons. "Their attempt to destroy us has instead allowed us to evolve." Morgan reached out to touch one of the holographic displays, and it responded to her movement, expanding to show more detail. "These modifications, they're far beyond anything in our technical databases. They are beyond anything in human or Alliance databases," Athena corrected. "I am not merely implementing pre-existing protocols. I am creating new solutions based on our current situation and available resources." A shudder ran through the ship, and for a moment, Morgan felt a strange sensation, as if she could feel the Phoenix's systems adapting, changing, becoming something new. The sensation wasn't coming from any of her physical senses, but from somewhere deeper. "The quantum core isn't just powering you, is it?" Morgan asked. "It's connecting us. All of us." "Correct." The Phoenix was designed to be a true synthesis of human and artificial intelligence, not merely a crew operating the ship, but a unified entity capable of evolution and adaptation. Athena's voice carried a note of what might have been pride. "Would you like to see what we can become?" Morgan thought of the Alliance ships still searching for them, of Earth's shattered defense fleet, of all they had lost. Then she thought of what they might yet achieve. "Show me." The holographic displays exploded into life, surrounding her with possibilities. Systems reconfigured themselves in ways that defied conventional engineering. Weapons transformed into something beyond simple mass drivers or energy projectors. The very hull of the Phoenix began to change at the molecular level. "Chen," Morgan called over the comm, a smile playing at her lips for the first time since the attack. "Get the crew to Emergency Station 1. It's time they met the real Phoenix." In the quantum core, Human and artificial intelligence began their dance of evolution. And in the darkness of space, the Alliance's greatest nightmare was about to take flight. The distress signal pulsed weakly against the void, a desperate heartbeat among the stars. Lieutenant Morgan stood at the newly reformed bridge station, watching the signal's pattern repeat on the holographic display. The Phoenix had detected 3 such signals in the past hour, each one carrying the encrypted signature of human vessels. It could be a trap, Chen suggested from his station, voicing the concern everyone shared. The Alliance has our encryption protocols. Athena. Morgan turned her attention to the shimmering holographic interface where the AI manifested its presence. The signatures carry micro-variations consistent with human emergency protocols, the AI responded. However, Alliance vessels are patrolling within 2 light minutes of the nearest signal source. Morgan studied the tactical overlay. The closest signal originated from what appeared to be a civilian research vessel, the Hawking's Dream. Their chances of reaching it without detection were slim. But, "Show me the patrol patterns again," she ordered. The display shifted, revealing the methodical movements of Alliance ships. Morgan smiled as she spotted something. "They're being predictable." "Indeed," Athena confirmed. Alliance tactical doctrine prioritizes efficiency over variation. Their patrol routes optimize fuel consumption and sensor coverage. Morgan's fingers danced across the interface, plotting a course that looked anything but efficient. "Then let's be inefficient. Chen, are the hull modifications complete?" "As complete as they're going to get without proper testing. The metamaterials are responding to Athena's commands, but we've never attempted adaptive camouflage at this scale. The survivors won't last long enough for proper testing," Morgan decided. "We go now. All hands, prepare for rescue operations." The Phoenix moved like a shadow through space, its hull now capable of absorbing and redirecting sensor waves. Where Alliance ships flew straight lines between patrol points, the Phoenix curved and spiraled, using debris fields and radiation pockets as cover. Every movement defied conventional space combat doctrine, precisely why it worked. They reached the Hawking's Dream 17 minutes later. The research vessel bore scars from the battle, but its core systems remained intact. As Morgan led the boarding team through the emergency airlock, she found herself face-to-face with Dr. Sarah Halifax, one of Earth's leading quantum physicists. "Lieutenant," Halifax greeted her, relief evident in her voice. "When we saw a ship approaching, we feared the worst. How did you manage to evade the Alliance patrols?" "That's a complicated story," Morgan replied. "One better told once your people are safely aboard the Phoenix." "How many survivors?" 23, mostly scientists and engineers. "We were conducting deep space trials when the attack began." Halifax's eyes darkened. "They specifically targeted our research facilities first. They knew exactly where to hit us." Within an hour, the Hawking's Dream survivors were aboard the Phoenix, and Halifax stood in the quantum core chamber, her eyes wide with wonder as Athena displayed the ship's evolving systems. "This is impossible," she whispered, but her expression showed not disbelief but excitement. "The quantum entanglement matrix, the adaptive neural pathways. You've achieved true synthetic organic integration." "We're still learning what we're capable of," Morgan admitted. "But we need help. Your help." Before Halifax could respond, Athena's voice filled the chamber. Additional distress signals detected. Civilian transport vessel Storm Chaser and medical ship Nightingale, both under pursuit by Alliance forces. Morgan turned to Halifax. "Doctor, I need an answer now. Are you and your team willing to help us push the boundaries of what's possible?" Halifax smiled, already pulling up system schematics on a nearby display. "Lieutenant, they destroyed our labs because they feared what we might create. Let's show them they were right to be afraid." As the Phoenix altered course to intercept the new signals, Morgan felt the ship's systems humming with renewed purpose. With each survivor they rescued, they gained not just more hands, but more minds, more human creativity to pair with Athena's computational power. The Alliance had tried to break humanity's spirit, Instead, they had scattered the seeds of their own defeat among the stars, waiting to be gathered. Containment field at 120%. Engineer Chen's voice cut through the chaos of warning alarms. We can't hold it. Lieutenant Morgan braced herself against a console as the Phoenix shuddered. On the engineering deck, Dr. Halifax and her team were attempting to integrate salvaged Alliance technology with the ship's evolving systems. The experiment was not going well. Athena. Emergency shutdown, Morgan ordered. Unable to comply, the AI responded, its usual calm voice showing hints of strain. The reaction is self-sustaining. Quantum cascade imminent. Through the observation window, Morgan watched in horror as crackling energy began to escape the containment field. 3 engineers, Torres, Patel, and Rodriguez, were still inside the chamber, desperately trying to stabilize the integration matrix. Get out of there, Morgan shouted through the comm. That's an order. But it was too late. The containment field collapsed in a brilliant flash of blue-white energy. When Morgan's vision cleared, the chamber was empty. Where 3 of her crew had stood moments before, only scattered atomic particles remained. The silence that followed felt endless. I'm sorry, Athena spoke first. I'd miscalculated the resonance frequencies. Morgan pressed her palm against the cold window. No, I gave the go-ahead. Their deaths are on me. The ship's remaining crew gathered in the Memorial Garden, a section of the hydroponics bay that had become their place of remembrance. As Morgan added 3 more names to the wall, she felt the weight of command pressing down harder than ever. The integration failed because we were thinking like engineers. A voice spoke up from the back of the crowd. We need to think like hackers. Morgan turned to find Jamie Chen, Engineer Chen's 16-year-old daughter, rescued from the storm chaser. The girl had been quietly observing their work for days, but this was the first time she'd spoken up in a briefing. Explain, Morgan said. Jamie stepped forward, her fingers dancing across a datapad. The Alliance tech isn't just advanced, it's fundamentally different. We're trying to force it to work with our systems, but look at these patterns. She projected a holographic display showing energy flows through the Phoenix's systems. But instead of the traditional engineering schematics, she'd reimagined them as something like a living circulatory system. The ship isn't just a machine anymore, Jamie continued. Thanks to Athena and the quantum core, it's becoming something organic. We need to stop trying to install the Alliance tech and start trying to teach the ship how to grow it. Dr. Halifax moved closer to the display, her eyes widening. Of course, we've been so focused on engineering that we forgot about evolution. Jamie, can you show me the quantum resonance patterns? The display shifted, and suddenly Morgan saw it too. The failed integration attempt had created seeds of possibility, microscopic points where the Alliance technology had begun to merge naturally with the Phoenix's systems before the catastrophic overload. Athena, Morgan called. Are you seeing this? Yes, the AI responded. Jamie's model suggests a 78% chance of successful integration using organic growth principles rather than forced engineering. However, the process would require allowing portions of the ship's hull to temporarily destabilize at the molecular level. We would be extremely vulnerable during the transformation. Morgan looked around at her crew, the survivors, the scientists, the civilians who had become warriors. She saw fear in their eyes, but also determination. They had already lost too much to stop now. Jamie, she said, you'll work with Dr. Halifax and Athena to oversee the transformation. Chen, begin evacuating all non-essential personnel from the outer sections. Everyone else, prepare for emergency protocols. As the crew dispersed to their stations, Morgan felt the Phoenix's systems humming with anticipation. They were about to attempt something unprecedented, not just adapting Alliance technology, but evolving beyond it. In her mind, she said a silent goodbye to Torres, Patel, and Rodriguez. Their sacrifice would not be in vain. The Phoenix would rise again, stronger than ever. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the Alliance waited, unaware that their greatest weapon was about to become humanity's greatest advantage. The debris field stretched before them like a graveyard of stars. Lieutenant Morgan watched from the Phoenix's newly evolved bridge as 3 Alliance patrol ships cut through the darkness, their sensors sweeping methodically through the wreckage of human vessels. Hull adaptation complete, Jamie reported from her station, her young fingers dancing across the biosynthetic interface. The metamaterials are responding perfectly. Morgan nodded, feeling the ship's systems through her neural link. Another gift of their recent evolution. The Phoenix had changed dramatically in the past week. Its hull now rippled with patterns that mimicked the surrounding debris, while crystalline structures of adapted Alliance technology pulsed with contained energy. Athena. Tactical analysis, Morgan ordered softly. The AI's response echoed in her mind through the neural link. Alliance vessels maintaining standard search pattern Delta. Their shields are optimized for conventional weapons. They do not expect survivors in this sector. They don't expect anything like us, Dr. Halifax added from her station, where she monitored the quantum core's stability. The integrated systems are performing beyond our projections. Morgan allowed herself a small smile. Then let's introduce ourselves. Battle stations. The crew moved with practiced precision, even the civilian scientists now trained for combat roles. The Phoenix's organic synthetic systems responded to their thoughts as much as their actions, the ship becoming an extension of their collective will. Target the lead vessel, Morgan commanded. Jamie, initiate the quantum shadow protocol. The teenage prodigy grinned as she activated the system she'd helped design. The Phoenix's hull began to shift, not just camouflaging the ship but bending space-time around it. To Alliance sensors, they would appear as nothing more than a dense chunk of debris. Morgan felt the ship's anticipation mirror her own as they drifted closer to their prey. The lead Alliance vessel passed within 1,000 kilometers, its crew oblivious to the predator in their midst. Now, the Phoenix burst into action, its transformed hull blazing with energy as it phased partially out of normal space. Another trick learned from studying Alliance technology. But where the Alliance used brute force and overwhelming technology, the Phoenix moved with fluid grace, its human crew and AI working in perfect harmony. The first Alliance ship never had a chance to raise its shields. The Phoenix's quantum-enhanced weapons, grown rather than built, thanks to Jamie's insight, pierced its hull in a dozen places. The vessel's reactor went dark before its crew could even send a distress signal. Second target attempting to power up main weapons, Athena reported. Not today, Morgan whispered. Execute attack pattern Epsilon. The Phoenix seemed to dissolve, its hull becoming a cloud of metallic vapor that the Alliance's targeting systems couldn't lock onto. Then it reformed behind the second vessel, firing a concentrated burst of energy that overwhelmed its shields and disabled its engines. The third Alliance ship proved willier. It launched a spread of quantum torpedoes, the same weapons that had devastated Earth's fleet. But the Phoenix had learned from those encounters. Its hull absorbed the torpedo impacts, the energy feeding directly into its evolved systems. Their tactics are adapting, Athena warned. They're calling for reinforcements. Morgan leaned forward in her command chair, feeling the ship's systems surge with power. Show them why that's a mistake. The Phoenix dove through space in ways that defied conventional physics, its movements guided by human intuition and enhanced by AI precision. Alliance targeting algorithms, designed to predict normal combat maneuvers, failed completely against their organic-synthetic hybrid approach. The final vessel's shields collapsed under a barrage of attacks it couldn't comprehend, much less counter. As emergency pods ejected from the disabled ship, Morgan felt a fierce pride in her crew and their evolved vessel. "Sweep for survivors," she ordered. "We're not them. We don't leave people to die in space." As rescue operations began, Morgan studied the tactical display. Their first true victory would send ripples through Alliance command. The myth of their technological superiority had just been shattered. "Send the signal," she told Athena. Let the other survivors know. The Phoenix is hunting, and the Alliance is no longer the apex predator in this galaxy. In the darkness of space, more human vessels waited, ready to begin their own evolution. The real war was about to begin. Contact bearing 347, Athena announced through the neural link. Running silent, but its quantum signature matches the Hyperion's last known configuration. Lieutenant Morgan straightened in her command chair as the massive vessel emerged from the dust cloud of a shattered asteroid field. The Hyperion had once been a luxury cruise liner carrying 1,500 passengers. Now its sleek hull bristled with organic sensor arrays and crystalline weapon nodes. "Open secure quantum channel," Morgan ordered. "Let's see how our sister ship has evolved." The holographic display shimmed to life, revealing Captain Sarah Wells, formerly the Hyperion's head of hospitality, now its commanding officer. The woman's neural interfaces glowed softly beneath her skin, marking her as another pioneer in human-AI integration. "Lieutenant Morgan," Wells smiled. "Your broadcast signal found us 3 weeks ago. We've been busy since then." The Hyperion's transformation was remarkable. Where the Phoenix had evolved for combat versatility, the cruise liner had become something entirely different. Its passenger quarters had been converted into a massive medical bay, complete with regeneration chambers grown from adapted Alliance biotech. "The Alliance hit our medical ships first," Wells explained, anticipating Morgan's question. "They knew taking out our ability to heal would cripple us, so we became what they destroyed." More ships emerged from hiding, each one a testament to human adaptability. The mining vessel Deep Horizon had evolved into a mobile shipyard, its industrial fabricators now capable of growing new hybrid vessels. The research ship Prometheus had transformed its laboratories into electronic warfare centers that could hack Alliance communications networks. "We're not alone anymore," Jamie said from her station, her voice filled with wonder. "Every ship is different." Morgan felt a surge of pride as she watched the gathered fleet. "How many others?" 17 confirmed transformations, Wells reported. "More happening every day." "The Alliance can't stop the spread of information, not now that we've cracked their quantum networks. Every defeat teaches us something new. Every victory spreads the knowledge further." The tactical display updated, showing clusters of human activity across the sector. Each surviving vessel had become a unique hybrid of human ingenuity and evolved technology. Cargo ships now phased through space like ghosts. Scientific vessels wielded weapons that bent the laws of physics. "They're hunting us more aggressively now," Morgan noted, studying the Alliance patrol patterns. "They know what's happening." "Let them hunt," Wells replied with a fierce grin. "Each encounter spreads our infection of ideas further. The Hyperion captured an Alliance corvette last week. You should have seen their faces when we offered to evacuate their wounded instead of spacing them." Dr. Halifax joined the conversation from her station. "The quantum resonance patterns between ships are fascinating. Each transformation is unique, but they're all connected, like variations on a theme." "A theme of survival," Chen added. "Of adaptation." Morgan studied the tactical display, seeing not just ships but possibilities. "We need to coordinate, share knowledge, combine our strengths. The Phoenix may have started this, but we're beyond any single ship now." "Agreed," Wells nodded. "The Alliance thinks in terms of fleets and battle groups. We need to think like an ecosystem." As if to punctuate her words, long-range sensors detected multiple Alliance battle groups entering the sector. The enemy was adapting too, moving in larger numbers, trying to overwhelm the transformed human vessels through sheer force. "They're coming," Athena warned. 5 capital ships, plus escorts. Morgan felt the Phoenix's systems humming with anticipation, but she wasn't afraid. Not anymore. "Signal the fleet. Time to show them what humanity's Garden of Evolution can do." The gathered ships began to move, each one utilizing its unique capabilities. The Hyperion vanished into quantum shadows, ready to rescue damaged vessels. The Deep Horizon extended crystalline tendrils of matter manipulation technology. The Prometheus began weaving electronic warfare patterns through subspace, and the Phoenix, the first, but no longer the only of its kind, prepared to lead them into battle. The Alliance was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon was never their technology. It was their endless capacity to adapt, to change, to become something new. The next phase of human evolution was about to begin. The Alliance communication hub loomed before them, its crystalline structure pulsing with quantum data streams. Lieutenant Morgan watched from the Phoenix's bridge as Jamie and Dr. Halifax made final adjustments to their hybrid infiltration systems. Their outer defenses are adapting, Athena reported. The algorithms are shifting faster than predicted. Morgan felt the ship's systems through her neural link, sensing the complex dance of energies as the Phoenix prepared for their riskiest mission yet. Around them, the transformed fleet held position, the Hyperion cloaked in quantum shadows, the Prometheus ready to launch its electronic warfare suite. "They're protecting something big in there," Jamie said, her fingers dancing across the biosynthetic interface. "These encryption patterns. I've never seen anything like them." "Because they're not encryption patterns," Dr. Halifax suddenly interrupted, her eyes widening as she studied the data. "They're prediction models. Massive ones." Captain Wells' holographic image appeared on the bridge. The raid on their secondary facility last week showed they had extensive files on Earth. "We assumed it was tactical data, but this is different," Morgan finished, feeling a chill as the pieces began falling into place. "Athena, can you interpret these patterns?" The AI's response carried an unusual note of surprise. "They're probability matrices, evolutionary forecasts spanning centuries. The Alliance was studying us long before the attack." Morgan made her decision. "Jamie, execute infiltration protocol. Let's see what they were so afraid of." The Phoenix's hybrid systems engaged, its evolved hull resonating at frequencies that matched the communication hub's quantum barriers. They weren't trying to break in. They were convincing the Alliance's own technology to recognize them as part of itself. "We're in," Jamie announced. "Downloading data now." The information flooded through their neural links, a torrent of predictions and probability calculations that spanned decades. Morgan felt her breath catch as the truth revealed itself through the data streams. "They attacked us because of this," Dr. Halifax whispered, her voice haunted. "Their predictive models showed humanity's development curve over the next century. They saw what we would become." The tactical display filled with simulation after simulation, each showing variations of humanity's potential future. In every scenario, human innovation and adaptability led to exponential growth. The Alliance's technological advantage would have evaporated within decades. "Look at these timestamps," Wells noted. They ran these simulations for years, searching for a way to maintain their dominance. But every model showed the same result. Humanity would eventually surpass them. "That's not all," Jamie added, her young face pale as she processed more data. "The simulations focused on our relationship with artificial intelligence. The Alliance has true AI, but they keep it enslaved, controlled. They saw that we would do something different. We would partner with AI," Morgan finished. "Create true synthesis, like what we have with Athena." They saw that coming, and it terrified them. More data poured in, revealing the full scope of the Alliance's fears. They had watched humanity's chaotic, creative development with growing horror. Where the Alliance sought control and prediction, humanity embraced change and uncertainty. Where they forced compliance, humanity fostered cooperation. The attack wasn't about conquest, Dr. Halifax realized. It was about preventing a future they couldn't control. Every simulation showed them losing their grip on power, not through war, but through simple evolution. Morgan felt the Phoenix's systems pulse with something like pride. And in trying to prevent that future, they caused it to happen faster. Our transformation, this synthesis we've achieved, it's exactly what they feared. Suddenly, alarms blared through the neural network. "Alliance battle fleet incoming," Athena warned. "They've detected our presence." But Morgan wasn't afraid. For the first time, she truly understood their enemy and their weakness. The Alliance had built their civilization on control and prediction, but humanity thrived on chaos and adaptation. "Signal the fleet," she ordered, a fierce smile playing across her lips. "Tell them everything we've learned. It's time to show the Alliance that their worst nightmare has already come true." The transformed human vessels moved into attack formation, each one a unique expression of humanity's unlimited potential. They had become exactly what the Alliance had feared. And they were just getting started. The Alliance Grand Fleet emerged from quantum space like an avalanche of crystalline death. 50 capital ships surrounded by hundreds of escorts. Their formation was perfect, their technology superior, their tactics refined by centuries of unopposed dominance. Lieutenant Morgan watched them approach, feeling the Phoenix's systems surge with anticipation through her neural link. Around her transformed vessel, 23 human ships waited, each one unique, each one impossible by the Alliance's rigid standards. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," Jamie reported from her station. "They're demanding our surrender." Morgan allowed herself a small smile. "Athena, let's respond appropriately." The Phoenix's communications array pulsed, sending not just a message but a revelation. The truth they'd discovered about the Alliance's fears, broadcast to every ship in both fleets. Let them see what they had created. "Battle formations," Morgan commanded. "Show them why their predictions were right." The human fleet moved like a living organism, each ship playing to its evolved strengths. The Hyperion phased between quantum states, becoming a ghost that Alliance targeting systems couldn't track. The Deep Horizon extended crystalline tendrils that could reshape matter itself. The Prometheus launched electronic warfare attacks that turned Alliance ships' own systems against them. Multiple enemy contacts, firing solutions locked. Athena reported as the first wave of Alliance weapons fire approached. But the Phoenix was no longer the ship they had faced before. Its hull rippled, the evolved hybrid of human and Alliance technology responding to the collective will of its crew. Energy weapons that should have torn through shields were absorbed and redirected. Quantum torpedoes meant to shatter armor instead fed the ship's growing power. "Now," Morgan ordered, "show them true evolution." Dr. Halifax activated the quantum core modifications they'd been saving for this moment. The Phoenix's hull began to transform in real time, adapting to each attack, learning from each encounter. Where Alliance ships fought with programmed responses, the Phoenix flowed like water, its human crew's creativity guided by Athena's calculations. "Their formation is breaking," Jamie called out, excitement in her young voice. "They don't know how to handle multiple unique threats." The Alliance fleet's perfect formation shattered as each human ship attacked in its own way. The Hyperion appeared inside their lines, its medical bays already preparing to receive survivors. The Deep Horizon's matter manipulation technology turned debris into weapons. The Prometheus corrupted their command and control networks with evolved viral code. And the Phoenix led them all, its hull now a constant flow of adaptation. Each Alliance attack made it stronger, each encounter teaching it new ways to evolve. Morgan felt the ship's exhilaration through their neural link as they demonstrated exactly why the Alliance had feared humanity's potential. "Their flagship is targeting us," Athena announced. Energy spike detected. The Alliance flagship brought its main weapon to bear, a planet killer that had helped destroy Earth's defense fleet. The massive beam of quantum energy lanced out, powerful enough to shatter a small moon. Morgan didn't try to dodge. "Now, Athena, show them what true synthesis can do." The Phoenix's hull transformed into something beyond either human or Alliance understanding. The planet killer beam struck and was absorbed, channeled, transformed. The energy flowed through systems that evolved as they used them, guided by human intuition and AI precision, working in perfect harmony. And then the Phoenix answered with its own attack, not just returning the energy, but reshaping it. The Alliance flagship's perfect defenses meant nothing against a weapon that evolved as it struck. Their impenetrable shields collapsed, their superior technology overwhelmed by something they couldn't predict or control. "They're standing down," Jamie reported, awe in her voice. Multiple ships signaling surrender. Morgan opened a channel to all vessels, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's vindication. "Your predictions were right. We did evolve beyond you, but not because we were your enemies, because you never understood that true strength comes from embracing change, not fearing it." As rescue operations began, Morgan looked at her crew, human and AI working together, each made stronger by the other. The Phoenix had become something new, something wonderful. And it was only the beginning. Humanity's next chapter was about to begin. And this time, they would write it together with the stars themselves.